7:43, good morning to you. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie.
And let's take a look at today's front pages for you. And the NHS pay deal signals the end to a wave of public sector strikes as unions accept the government's 5% offer. That's according to the Eye.
The Express talks about that deal, saying it's a victory for common sense and patience.
Carry on nurse, that's the front of the Sun, as the NHS staff halt their strike action for the hopeful foreseeable future.
The Times praising what they call a new fair pay rise for NHS staff after those conclusions to the negotiations yesterday.
The Mirror also covering the NHS breakthrough, but adds that now is the time to help other key workers come to an agreement over their own strike action.
For the Telegraph, Labour's plans to axe the recent abolition of the lifetime contributions cap if they come to power. The Telegraph piece says that could leave pensions raided and could throw the financial industry into turmoil.
The Guardian is talking about the Met Police's culture of sexism and racism as the latest report highlights the lack of change within the force.
And it's beyond a parody, according to the Mail, as Oxfam released a 92-page inclusivity guide calling English the language of a colonial nation, and suggests that people avoid words like headquarters and mother.
Well, it's time to go through the papers now, and joining us this morning is the legend, the broadcaster, Liz Kershaw. Good morning to you, Liz.
I'm licking my lips. I've just been given a bacon sandwich.
Have you?
Oh,
you're being looked after out there. Very nice.
Well, I'm on my own, so you know.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Right, St Patrick's Day. So you've got an Irish story for us, but it's not a particularly happy one.
No,
I do like to look around the world and see what's going on, because it puts whatever's happening in the UK into some kind of context. It's easy for us to beat ourselves up and like, oh, it's all rubbish here and the rest of the world's some big utopia. So we don't live in vacuums, we all interact. So it's St Patrick's Day, but this is a piece about Irish housing and the impact that immigration has had on that. And of course, you and I, Ellie, with our Irish heritage, would not be sitting here if our ancestors had not migrated in search of a better life. They weren't coming from a war zone at the time that they did, but they were economic migrants. My great-grandma came over because she was starving, and the family couldn't do anything but send her over here with bare feet, not even shoes, and then she worked her socks off and dragged us all up with her. So I am a product of migration, as you are. So many people had to leave Ireland over the decades, last 400 years, and they're now, there are more Irish outside Ireland around the world. But a few years ago, it was brought to my notice by Irish friends that Leo Varadkar had stated that his new policy, economic policy to grow the Irish economy, was mass immigration. It was a stated policy. Open the doors, we'll get workers in. And that's what it was. But it's now causing a lot of resentment because there are not enough houses. And a separate article in the Financial Times today explains that people in Ireland, particularly of the Anglophone nations, the English-speaking nations, don't like flats. They like their own bungalow, and they like their garden and their privacy. Anyway, there's a massive housing shortage in Ireland. A nation of 5.1 million people struggling with record homelessness, and they have taken in 58,000 Ukrainians as part of the programme to help Ukraine. But the numbers arriving from elsewhere, Algeria, Nigeria, Georgia, Somalia and Zimbabwe, leapt 235% on the same period last year. People are living in tents in Ireland. They're living in sports halls. The hotels have been commandeered by the government, but hoteliers are saying that was great for the winter when we weren't getting any business, but we want our hotels back for tourists now because that's our bread and butter. So a real problem. And of course, people have been protesting. I know and I've got Irish friends who were so upset and angry about this, and yet I really find it unacceptable that ordinary Irish people, I'm assuming, who were going out on the streets and saying, enough, we can't cope, are branded, of course, As what?
Right.
Far right.
right.
Yeah, it just did. I just find it disgusting. People have got a right to have a voice and a right to say if they think that something is wrong without being branded far right.
Well, talking about having a voice,
yeah.
The Times has got an interesting one because the farmers in Holland, in the Netherlands, have set up their own political party, the Farmers' Citizens Movement.
Yeah.
They've got 20% of the vote.
Yeah, so they've grabbed... so the Dutch farmers who were sick of being told that they'd got to reduce... Think how important farming is in Holland, even more so than here. The amount of land given over to it, it's so intense there. A tiny country, really. But they were told they had to reduce livestock numbers because of basically farting cows, methane, and farms were being bought out and the land use changed by the Dutch government. So they're running their prime industry, market gardening, flowers, cows grazing into the ground, and the farmers set up their own party, the Boerburger Beweging Party, excuse my Dutch, the Farmers' Citizens Movement, and it's won 20% of the vote in the latest election. It's gained 15 seats in the upper house of Parliament, and Mark Rutte, the longest-serving Dutch Prime Minister ever, is projected to lose 8 seats.
Right.
So he'll be down to 24 and they've got 15. Not much of a margin, is it, for a ruling party?
I'll tell you what, though, voice of the people and all that, I mean, I think it's really interesting.
But hang on.
Go on,
they're
just
now
quickly.
being branded as far right.
Oh.
The Dutch farmers, far right,
Well, there you go. Liz, we're out of time, but we will see you in the next hour. And you're going to be, I think you got David Mellor with you, haven't you?
Yeah.
You'll have a friend.
Superman's arrived on the scene.
Loaded.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Liz.
Liz.